Let's start laying down on our backs. Let your body be heavy here and start tuning in, especially to the breath. That's what yoga is all about, is connecting breath to movement. I like to do about a 4-count inhale and a 6-count exhale. Try to let all of the other thoughts that are running around in your brain go. And start to slowly wake your body up. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Reach your arms up over your head. Nice long stretch. And hug both knees into the chest. Little rock from side to side is good. I'm going to start with some hip circles, kind of like riding a big bike. So you're going to start with the right leg, extend it up towards the ceiling, and then lower towards the floor. Inhale up. Exhale as it lowers. About 5 forward and 5 backwards. This is a great warm-up for the hip flexor. And then just reach your arms out wide like airplane wings. If it bothers your low back, you can bend the other leg. Then we'll switch to the left leg, lifting up. Inhale up and then exhale as you lower. And just focusing on the breath. Keep connecting the breath with the movement. And then reverse the direction of the circles. I'm going to get into the hips a little bit today, so this is a great way to warm up. We'll move into Supta Baddha Konasana. Don't mind the sunshine on my legs there. Kind of a strange place. This is going to help stretch the piriformis and other deep hip rotators, which are stabilizers for the hip joint. And they lay underneath the gluteus maximus, the outer muscle. So just let your legs be heavy. If this is uncomfortable, you can place blocks or blankets or pillows under your knees. And then bring your feet out to the outer edges of your mat and drop your knees over to one side. It's called windshield wipers. Just go back and forth a couple times. Again, on the breath. Let the breath direct the movement. Inhale up, exhale down. It's just a nice gentle twist. You can hang out on one side if one may be tighter than the other. Go ahead and grab your strap, place it around the right foot, right under the ball. I'm going to do some little teeny micro circles with the legs straight or extended towards the ceiling. I like to do about 10 or so in one direction and then go the other way. If you don't have a strap, you might be able to use a belt, something like that. And then open your leg out towards the side. Try to keep the left hip point down. So if you're lifting up there, it may be too much. You may need to back off a little bit on how much you open it out to the side. And then lift it up and over. Switch the strap into the left hand. And here you'll see that my right hip, it lifted up. because I like to drop the leg all the way over to the floor and then reach the arm out to the side, and you can gaze over to the right as well if that feels okay on your neck, and then bring that leg up and switch to the other leg. Do the same thing on the other side, starting with the little micro circles. And place both ends of the strap into the left hand, open the leg out towards the left side, keeping that right hip down or the right butt cheek down. And also flex the right ankle to keep the quad engaged. And then switch the strap over to the right hand and drop the leg over to the other side. And again, the hip is going to lift up. And then you're reaching your left arm out to the side, and you can gaze that way if it's okay on the neck. Then bring the leg back up through center. Release the strap. And if you have a block, place the block in between your hands, and you want to apply some pressure to the block and get your arms engaged. You're going to slowly sit down and reaching the arms up overhead, keeping the block, you're squeezing the block at the same time. Let's do a few of these sit-ups. Really slow on the way down. Exhale. And then inhale on the way up. And I bent my knees here because I wanted to try that variation, and I actually like it better with bent knees. So just continue the slowly sitting back, arms up overhead. And then again, a slow controlled sit up. Tuck your chin as you go back. Keep squeezing that block. And go ahead and come to tabletop. Wrists are directly under the shoulders, and go through some cat and cow. And inhale to cow, chest reaches forward. Exhale, cat, arch your back. Inhale to cow. Exhale, cat, tuck the chin in. Go through a few rounds on the breath. Let the breath direct the movement. Pay some attention to the wrist creases here. You want them parallel with the front edges of the mat. And then go ahead and press yourself into an extended child's pose with your knees together. Arms are reaching forward and active. From here, place your hands, a couple handprints in front. We're going to flow between some chaturanga push-ups to extended child's pose. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale as you lower, hugging the elbows into the body. No chicken wings. Inhale forward. Exhale as you lower. Inhale up and exhale back. So just flow back and forth on your breath. And then tuck your toes and go ahead and press yourself to downward facing dog. Pedal your feet. Warm up those ankles. And then try pressing your chest towards your thighs. Get your hands pressing into the mat, the whole entire hand. Upper arms are externally rotating. Create some space between your shoulders and your neck. And then step up to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale as you fold forward, Uttanasana. And then inhale, come to standing with a flat back. And exhale here to Tadasana. Go ahead and place the block in front of your mat. We're going to use that little sequence here. Inhale, arms up. Exhale as you forward fold. Put a deep bend in your knees here. Your chest is like almost on your knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend into like a little tuck. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bend. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then go and grab onto the block. We're going to go into chair from here, pressing into the block. And then exhale to forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, hands come down, step back to plank, actually tabletop. Exhale as you lower, chaturanga push-up, and then exhale back to extended child's pose. And coming forward, exhale, push-up. Back to extended child's pose, and then back to downward facing dog. And then stepping to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Go ahead and grab your block and raise up to chair. Sit down into your chair and then exhale, release the block. Do a sun salutation. Inhale, exhale as you forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank. Take an inhale in high plank. Exhale as you lower slowly. Inhale, cobra. And exhale back to downward facing dog. And step the right foot forward, low lunge. And place the block under your left hand and take a gentle twist. And shorten the stance a little bit and do some chest presses with the block. Again, pressing your hands into the sides of the block as well. And go ahead and put the block down. And going to sit down deeper into your hip flexor stretch on that left side, and then shift back for a hamstring stretch, flexing the toes towards your face. And we'll switch legs, so take a vinyasa, so plank, lowering down to chaturanga, and then cobra, and then to downward facing dog, and then stepping the left foot forward, low lunge, placing the block under the right hand. We'll take that twist again on the side. Shorten your stance a little bit, because it's hard to balance here, and you do the chest press with the block or a ball or something, just to create some resistance, add some more strengthening into this. I forgot to do the quad stretch on this side. So shifting back to plank and then downward facing dog. Take a few breaths in this downward dog, stepping the right foot forward. For crescent lunge, I like to start with my hands on my hips to just get settled in the posture. This is neutral hips with feet on 2 skis, which means hip width apart, arms extend up overhead, reaching forward, and then coming back up. And reach, inhale back up. Go back and forth here a few times. And then hands to hips, shorten your stance a little bit and bend deep into that left knee until it taps on the mat. On your exhale, bend and tap. And hands come to heart center. Take a revolved crescent so the left elbow hooks on the outer edge of the right knee. And hands come down around the right foot, step back. High plank, exhale as you lower, chaturanga. I did an upward facing dog here just to show a variation. Back to downward dog again, step the left foot forward, crescent lunge, hands on the hips, get yourself settled, get your balance, then arms reach up overhead. Exhale as you reach forward, inhale up. Exhale, reach. Inhale, extend. Exhale. Shorten your stance. Bend into that right knee and tap on the mat. As you exhale, bend. Inhale, up. Hands come to heart center. And then twist. Hooking the right elbow on the outside of the left knee, pressing those hands together. Gaze is kind of at the upper, towards your upper arm there. Shifting back to plank. Take a vinyasa, you can always skip it. And you can always take a child's pose. We're back in downward dog, taking a couple breaths. And step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, come to standing, keeping your back flat. And exhale, hands release. And go ahead and grab onto your block again. Sit down into your chair. And do a little balance here. So standing on the left leg, you're going to lift your right leg up. Breathe. Keep pressing into that block and then release and switch to the other leg. Standing on the right leg, lift your left leg up. Keep breathing. Exhale, release. Place your block off to the side. And go through another sun salutation. Inhale, arms extend. Exhale as you forward fold. Inhale to half forward fold, chest lifts. Exhale, hands down. I did a hop back to plank showing that variation. You can always put your knees down too as you lower from plank down to your belly. So we're back in downward dog. Inhale, right leg steps forward. This is called Prasarita Padottanasana. It's hard to tell, but the toes are angling inward here like pigeon toes. Hands come to hips and you fold forward with the flat back. Fingertips in line with toe tips. Inhale, halfway lift, hands come to the waist with the flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. And hands come to hips and stand up with a flat back. Angle your right toes forward. I'm going to take a reverse triangle. Both legs are straight. Flip your palm. and reaching your hips forward, your arms forward. You're coming into triangle. That right hand is pushing, actually pressing into the shin on the right leg to create support for your triangle, and then hands down around the right foot. Step back. Going from plank to down dog. Left leg steps forward again for Prasarita Padottanasana. Starting with the hands on the hips, fold forward with a flat back. Hands come down. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale as you fold. Go through this a couple times. And then make sure you hinge from the hips as you come up with a flat back. Angle your left toes forward. We'll start with the reverse triangle, palm flips and arm extends. And arms reach, hip reaches back, coming into your triangle. And hands come down around the left foot, step back. Take a vinyasa again or skip it. Cobra, and then back to downward dog. And go ahead and take a child's pose here. So this is a traditional child's pose with the knees wide, big toes are together, and arms are reaching forward. But the arms can go behind you if that's more comfortable. And just really breathe into the lower back and glutes. It should feel like a resting pose. But sometimes this is not comfortable for people. You may need a blanket or even a bolster. Coming into we're going to go for crow pose now. Crow pose is not necessarily a beginner's pose. You're going to start with your hands at about under your shoulders. You're going to kind of come, I didn't do very good on that second one there, but basically your knees are hugging into the outer elbows and you're lifting up with your core. And just work your way towards doing that. You can start with lifting one leg and then the other leg. It's not a beginner's pose. I'm going to go through a little flow. Come onto your knees. Sitting up on your knees. Arms extend. Exhale as you kind of fold forward. I don't know what to call this. Like a little tuck. Inhale, arms extend. Exhale as you kind of tuck forward. And back to tabletop. Extend your right arm and left leg. Breathe. Inhale, lift left arm, right leg. Exhale, release. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Exhale, release. Inhale, left arm and right leg. Exhale, release. And then switch. This is a great weight-bearing exercise and strengthening exercise to strengthen the back muscles. Go ahead and press back to downward dog. And step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then come to standing with a flat back. Exhale, release. And go through exercise I like to call jump rope. I'm using a strap. I'm going to bring the strap up and over and then kind of come into a little tuck, inhale up, exhale down. And just flow back and forth on your breath. This is a great stretch for your arms, good warm up for the legs. Feels good on the back. And release the strap. Do another sun salutation. Inhale, arms extend. Exhale as you forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, hands down, step back to plank. Take an inhale in high plank. Exhale as you lower. And inhale to cobra pose. Exhale back to downward dog. Go ahead and come down to your belly. We're going to do Shalabhasana. You cannot see my arms. The arms are reaching out in front of you. You're going to lift arms and legs with a long line of energy between your fingertips and toe tips. We're looking for length, not height. And then rest. Turn your cheek. We'll do another variation. Bringing your arms back, palms down, and then again, lift everything up, shoulders are rolling back. Long line of energy between the crown of your head and the tips of your toes, and then turn the other cheek. We'll take one more variation, but if it's too much on your shoulders, you can always go back to the first or second version. You're going to clasp your hands behind your back, roll your shoulders back, and then lift. And take a couple breath cycles. And then rest. Or we'll take a simple quad stretch, so just go ahead and reach back for your right foot and bring it in towards your bum. Take a couple breaths. Release and switch to the left leg. And release that. And come sitting in just a simple cross-leg position. We'll start cooling down. Walk your hands forward and stretch your lower back, keeping both sit bones on the mat. And then walk your hands over to the right side, trying to make sure that both sit bones stay on the mat. So if one's lifting, you may be going a little too far. So just back off. And then coming through center and over to the other side. And back through center, and then walk your hands in and sit up and switch the crossing of your legs. Walk your hands forward again. Just breathe into your lower back. And sitting back up. Extend both legs out in front of you and want to engage your quads here, so flex your toes back towards your head. Hands come behind your hips, sitting up tall, collarbones wide. And then just hinge forward from the hip crease just a little bit, keeping your back straight. And then go ahead and bend the left knee in, keeping the right leg straight and active. This is called Janu Shirshasana, and we're just going to, again, fold forward from the hip crease just a tiny bit. You don't want to bend at the back here while your hamstrings are engaged. And then we'll take Baddha Konasana again, but in a seated position. So soles of the feet are together, you're sitting up tall. And then hinge forward a little bit. I'm going to now bring the right leg in and the left leg straight, Janu Shirshasana on the other side. Again, sitting up tall. Take a few breath cycles in each one of these stretches. And then we'll take figure four, go ahead and lay down on the mat. You're going to cross the right leg over the left. And then lifting your left leg up, you're going to place your hands behind your left hamstring to deepen the stretch. If that's too much, you can just have the right leg crossed over the left, opening the hip. And then we'll switch left leg crossing over the right. And then lift your right leg, bring the hands behind the hamstring to deepen the stretch. So good stretch for the piriformis and outer hip, glutes. Release that. Then we'll go into Happy Baby, grabbing the outer edges of your feet. The sun is really shining on my booty here. If you can't grab the outer edges of your feet, you can always go lower on your leg, your calves, and then we'll come into Shavasana. You always want to end your practice with a little Shavasana to kind of let the practice settle in. So keep focusing your attention on your breath and just let everything be heavy. And thank you for watching. Namaste.